Glad to have you with us from Orlando, Florida, one of the great vacation destinations in the entire land. Today, Camping World Stadium as a couple of teams square off for a chance to win the Pop-Tart Bowl. Weeks of additional practice and prep for bowl games not only can set the tone for what we're going to see in this game, but for what might be in store next season as well. As we see a squad from the Big 12, the Iowa Hawkeyes, taking on the 17th ranked team in the land, the Clemson Tigers. For EA Sports College Football, Reese Davis with you alongside David Pollack and Jesse Palmer. Time to get this game started. Kickoff team out there ready to tee it up in this bowl game. Fielded in the end zone, it's Washington. I know he thinks he can house every return, but sometimes you just have to take a knee as he stopped at the 14. Looking for room, it's Moulton. He never had a chance to get it to the edge, and first play of the game, and you're already behind the sticks. Let's talk for a minute about Iowa. Not sure if you guys saw this, but they had a big-time four-star running back give a verbal commitment last week. What's his transition going to be like, David?
First of all, everybody saw it. It's all over social media, right? The excitement of landing a guy of that caliber, and just, I mean, that creates excitement in the whole recruiting class in this next cycle.
After getting knocked back to open this drive, it's 2nd and 12. Toss sweep right. Trying to give them some room to work with. Stopped just short of the 20. They'll mark him out of bounds at the 19.
It's got to feel good as an offense knowing that early in the drive you can turn around, hand it off, get a push up front, and go get positive yardage.
Pinned just inside their own 20. They need to convert on 3rd and short. A quick completion to the left, looking for the first down. He's knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets it to the 25.
And this is why checkdowns are so big. There's a lot of quarterbacks in these types of situations on 3rd down. They just want to make the home run, highlight type throw. But a nice job being poised and making a good decision, checking it down to the running back here to help your offense out.
Leads it with the back. And he was fortunate not to lose yardage on that play, able to wedge it back to the line of scrimmage.
Awesome job up front by this defensive line, being so good at the point of attack and eating blocks, eating some double teams that allows these linebackers to run free, unencumbered, and get to the football.
Pocket breaking down. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down.
And that's a really good job by this defense, a complete defensive effort. When the back end makes the quarterback hold the football a little longer than he wants to, and then the pass rush gets home, hits him, and forces the incompletion.
They're going to keep this drive going. They'll have to make a play on 3rd and long from the 26. Little over anxious out of the stance early, and it's a false start. So the decision has been made, and the coach will take the penalty. Just couldn't quite hook up on that last pass play. Now it's 3rd down. To the air, it's Dotson. Flushed out of the pocket. Trying to make magic with his feet. Picks up the first down and gets down to avoid contact.
Nice job. Nice way to end that play for the QB. He does a really good job scrambling, getting the first down, and getting down. Because defensively, I'm trying to get a lick. Anytime I can hit the quarterback, that is a win.
The Hawkeyes look to keep this drive humming. They'll try the toss to the left. And there was nowhere to go, just stopped in his tracks in the backfield.
I like the idea of going toss to the field, but you got to have better blocking by your wide receivers out there on the perimeter. They didn't get it done, and as a result, that's a negative play.
And the Hawkeyes have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Back to pass. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down.
This offensive line's got to do a better job. I mean, he doesn't even have time to go through his progressions. You got to give your QB some time. You got to make him feel comfortable. They didn't. They got in there quick, fast, and in a hurry.
On 3rd and long, hoping to throw beyond the sticks. Quarterback feeling the pressure, and down he goes at the 22.
It is so beautiful when I get you behind the sticks in guaranteed passing situations, because guess what? I don't have to fire off and play run. I'm going and getting the quarterback and getting him on the ground. That's what defensive linemen live for.
This guy is a daring punt return man. He's not going to settle for the fair catch. A solid return. Gets a little bit of ground for the offense. From the gun, the running back has it. And maybe he'll get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. Guys, let's chat a little bit about Clemson. Boy, did they have a big pickup in recruiting. Stud in the secondary. 5-star defensive back. Gives them a verbal. What a huge boost for this program, David.
This is enormous. Getting a guy in the back end, a 5-star guy like that, dude, it's plug and play, and those guys pan out at...
Going for it all. Makes the grab, gets the foot down, just precision execution on that big play.
And that is such an accurate throw. It's one thing to do it from the pocket when you have your feet set underneath you, but when you can get outside, off schedule, on the move, and throw a dart like that, that is just big time, and the offense gets a huge explosive play.
That back had absolutely nowhere to run the football. Actually, is he counting? I think he's counting to make sure there's only 11 guys on defense.
Defense rose up deep in its own end on that last play. Now a 2nd and long coming. Looking downfield, it's Klubnik. Got his man on the right. That completion will take it close to the 5-yard line. They'll mark it at the 6. They'd really rather not have to settle for 3. It's 3rd and goal from the 6.
Well, short completion setting up 3rd down now. Who is your best player?
Picked off. That's number 15 on the year. He stopped. Not much on the return, but a whole lot in getting the football.
Well, coming into this game, this offense knew that points were going to be at a premium. If you can't score touchdowns down here in the red zone, you at least got to come away with field goals, but you can't do that if you're throwing interceptions. That's just poor execution by the offense.
That hole closed quickly. He'll get 1 out to the 6.
The big fella in the middle, man. Those defensive tackles, they go such a long way in deciding and really stopping the other team's run game. Just forcing contact with those guards and those centers, owning the line of scrimmage, and getting running backs on the ground.
Going to try to pop one on the screen. They'll make the stop, but not before they use the screen beautifully and pick up the first down.
Great job, too, by the QB there, holding the ball as long as possible, allowing the pass rush to get upfield, and at the very last second, getting it to his guy so that he can go get the first down.
Tight end now in motion. Looking to throw on 1st down. He unleashes a long one. Makes the catch down the right side. Out across the 45 and out of bounds at the 46-yard line. A big pickup here as they try to put together a scoring drive. The Hawkeyes have it with a 1st and 10. They'll They'll try to get the edge with the toss play here. That is a big win for this defense as they were right there as soon as he got the ball. Boy, it was like the defender heard the play call. He was ready for that one.
And one of the things is diagnose and go get it. They saw it, and they went and got it. They were not letting that ball go to the wide side of the field.
And the Hawkeyes with a long way to go after the loss on the last play. Give to the back. Bounced off his feet.
And I know it's not a first down, but I still like the way they ran the football here. Just try to make the next third down manageable. Try to get it where it's not as predictable. I think the offense did a really good job being smart there, taking what the defense gave them.
Tight end in motion, see how the D reacts. DB's locked up tight on the receivers. Using the back as a receiver on the screen. And it's pretty obvious there was a big hole in that screen, and the defense ran right through it. They were banking on the yards after the catch, but that went into the negative column.
And I'm banking on the ball coming out quick. When I'm a defense and understanding third and short, understand they're going to throw the ball really quickly, try to make a play. The defense knew it, broke on the football, and made a nice tackle to force a fourth down.
This freshman quarterback is slinging it out there to pick up that first down.
Well, you got to give this quarterback a ton of credit because he showed tremendous confidence on that throw. That wasn't just trying to throw to the sticks. That was being aggressive and throwing it down the field. Not a high-percentage throw.
There's a live football. Recovered by the defense, and he's off.
As a defender, you love the big hits. And you know what the cherry on the sundae is? When you get the big hit and force the fumble.
Looks as if we have an injury on that last play, and we'll take a break to check him out. Looking for a man. It's Klubnik. Gets it to him on the screen. Turning it on. Makes that one pay off, and they finally get him down at the 38. It'll be first down. For a quarterback as highly touted as Cade Klubnik was, I think he would even tell you he started slowly, but man, the progression, the improvement has been exponential, Jesse.
It has, Reese, and he's played big in big games as of late. You think back to last year's ACC championship game, and then I would argue his game against Texas, even in the loss in the playoff, that might have been his best game of the season, making throw after throw. You can see why he was so highly recruited, and if he plays up to that standard week in, week out, Clemson's going to be really tough to beat.
Let's see if the offenses can find a little rhythm as we start the second quarter. They've got a first down here to open the period. Let's send the tight end in motion. Quarterback adjusting the pattern. Looking for space. It's Haynes. And he never had a chance. Just stopped cold as soon as he got it. Let's take a second and talk about Clemson. As most everyone knows by now, one of the top disruptors on defense in the country, 5-star defensive lineman, and they got him with a huge verbal commitment last week. What's that going to do for them?
I mean, the excitement level through the roof. Getting a guy like that you know is plug and play. I mean, big, strong, athletic, makes your defensive line formidable right away. The recruiting class, they just gained some serious momentum.
One of the things you love about this running back is not only can he run between the tackles, but he's also a weapon in this offense catching the football.
Grabbed in the backfield. It's Brown. He hauled that one in and got it down to the 15-yard line. What a weapon these wide receiver screens can be. Not only do you get a convoy blocking, you get dynamic running.
When you do this and you show me the threat of throwing this wide receiver screen, it makes me play defense differently. It makes me have more guys out wide, which opens the box inside. So I think it's really smart for coordinators and offenses to continually throw these screens to playmakers.
Back to throw, it's Klubnik. Grabbed over the middle, it's Haynes. Now the connection takes it to the 11.
Yeah, and you see running backs in today's football, they play a wide receiver basically for you, but you got to find a guy that you can throw it to, and you know he's going to catch the ball consistently.
Referee signals timeout. It's the defense wanting to make sure that they have everything just right with a big play coming. Boy, they love to move the sticks here and take a shot at it on 1st and goal. 3rd and long, and he'll try to throw for it. Got it! two guys, they just shared a glance, and they knew exactly what to do, David.
And how many times do we hear that? The quarterback talk about it after the game and go, hey, I just looked at him. He knew what I saw. I knew what he saw. We're on the same page. We've done this before. That chemistry equals big plays.
Kickoff unit on the field, and this defense will be called on to protect this lead. Here he comes from midway in the end zone. Didn't find any crease in that kickoff coverage, and he'll be stopped at the 17. They'll get this drive going from the 17. Wants to go up top on first down. The short hands, it's Anderson. Good pickup on that play. It'll bring up 2nd and 4.
A nice job by the QB there, timing out that drag throw. It's zone coverage, so he's got to make sure he gets it to his receiver in a window to allow him to catch the ball and then turn it upfield.
The Hawkeyes can really attack on this 2nd and short. They'll move the tight end. He'll keep it himself. What a job up front, and he'll lose a yard on that one.
Phenomenal job by the defense that time, shutting down the option play. They knew they were going to see this in this game, and all week long in practice, they really focused on this assignment football, making sure the dive, the quarterback, the pitch, all taken away. Nowhere to go with the football that time offensively. The defense coming up with a huge negative play.
Doesn't quite make it to the first down marker. He's a yard short.
Ooh, and that's a nice sigh of relief for the defense too, right? There was a broken tackle, and the guy made it look like he was going to pick up the first, but because of great effort defensively, they were able to get the stop, and now they're setting up 4th down.
They'll unleash the Wildcat to keep this drive alive. On the direct snap, it's Moulton. Will not get there. A 4th down stop.
Man, first half being that aggressive on your side of the field, that's a different world. Like, you live in the analytics world, and I know people say go for it more often. I don't see the point in going for it on that one early in the game in that situation.
Clemson ready to dial up some ball plays. They've got it on offense. To the air, it's Klubnik. And the quarterback will take a sack back at the 36.
I love the defensive effort there. They didn't get him right away. They stayed after him. He was scrambling, going backwards. They get the sack on the first play of the drive.
Wants to fire on 2nd down. Here comes the heat. Nowhere close on that one as he got drilled trying to deliver the football, and now they face 3rd down.
This offensive line is going to have to shore up this pass pro, guys. The last play they took a sack. This one they allow a hit on the QB, which forces the incompletion. 3rd down, you're going to be throwing it right here, you think, so O-line's got to step up.
He's brought down the one of play for this offense, and they'll have it at the 12-yard line.
And it's on 3rd downs like this. If you want to attack the middle of the field, you got to look for the tight end. Really nice route. Great job looking that football in. You can tell this quarterback really has a lot of confidence when he's in the pocket looking for the...
And he runs it in for the score. Touchdown, Tiger. That touchdown puts them up by at least 2 scores. Too early to say it's over? Probably, but boy, it's starting to feel that way.
It might not be over, but you're in trouble, and you better find some answers really, really quickly. This team is putting everything together, and right now you got nothing going. Come on, give me something.
Now to make sure this kickoff team covers properly to pay off that last scoring drive. He'll bring it out. It's Washington. Nice job by the kickoff team. Everybody stayed in their lanes, and they'll stop him at the 16. A lot of work to do as this drive will start from the 16-yard line. Wants to throw on 1st down off the play fake. And the quick shuffle pass underneath. Out across the 20, they'll mark him out of bounds right at the 21-yard line.
This is exactly why this guy is your QB. He does such a great job of buying time, has such great speed, just stresses the defense. What do you want to do? You want to blitz me? Sure, I'm going to scramble outside the pocket, complete the pass. He's just posing so many problems and so many headaches.
From the gun, they'll try to impose their will. And he's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage by the big defensive tackle. Whistle blows, we are at the 2-minute timeout, and man, oh man, could these guys use a score to cut into this lead. So 3rd and short from inside the 20. You convert here, and this drive takes on a different complexion. He'll pull it on the read. Got enough for the first, and he's still going. All down, but he has enough to move the chains.
I just love it when my quarterback knows situational football. They run the option. He understands. It's 4th and short. Like, I got to stick my nose in there, get north-south, and try to get that first down. I love when I have a quarterback that can do it.
And he fights his way forward, gets away from one, but not much doing on that one.
And this guy has been a dominant force early in this game. We're still in the first half. He already has a sack. He gets a tackle for loss there. He's playing so well with his eyes right now. He's reading his keys, and he's letting his God-given ability put him in the backfield to make these plays.
They get him down after the scramble, but he's able to pick up a few and turn it into a positive play. Here on 3rd down. Looking to throw, it's Dotson. Oh, they're after him. He's got the tight end. Really nice pickup there as they have it out to the 44 with a first down. Looking downfield on 1st down. Under fire. Hit hard as he released the ball on that 1st down pass, and it never had a chance.
The offense just has not been able to find a way to get their rhythm going here in the first half. We just haven't seen it in the passing game. That was a really good example of it again. If they're going to score more points in the second half, they've got to make some adjustments here at halftime.
Try to make up for some of that lost ground on 2nd down. They're looking to get the edge with this one on the toss. What a nice job by the defense to string it out, not give him any kind of alley, and knock him down for a loss.
And you toss the ball to your running back to get him on the edge and try to get some space, but my goodness, there wasn't any space. He broke one tackle, but still wasn't enough. More guys coming after him really fast. They got to give him a little bit more space to do some more damage.
On 3rd and long, he'll need to loosen up that arm. That's reeled in. It's Anderson. Timeout is called, and it's the defense wanting to make sure that everyone's on the same page for this big down. And the Hawkeyes line up to punt it away. This will be the 2nd time they've had to kick it away. He'll field the punt and take it back. He'll get it out to about the 20-yard line, and that's where they'll mark him down. A lot of field in front of them as they open this possession from their own 20. Wants to throw on 1st down. Pressure coming. And he got smacked just as he released the pass. It's incomplete.
And you must do that against a guy of this caliber. This kind of QB will absolutely pick you apart. You got to get hurries. You got to get pressures. And when you can get hits and make him feel the physicality of the game, maybe you can take that guy and knock him down a few notches.
Love the push by the offensive line on that RPO play. Look how they just work the single teams and the double teams. You see linemen chipping off of their guys and climbing into the 2nd level and getting a hat on a linebacker. That's why those types of plays are successful.
Pass is incomplete, and that's going to do it for the first half. First half in the books. Time now to join Kevin Connors in our halftime update. The Hawkeyes will line up to kick off and start the second half. He wisely lets that one bounce through the back of the end zone, and they'll take over at the 25. They'll put this one in play first snap of the drive from the 25. Might be calling a hot route. Looking to throw, it's Klubnik. It's complete to the left. Really good job to pick up a chunk of yardage and get it out to the 39-yard line. Passing game kept this drive moving. Let's see if they try it again. He'll do it himself. Able to get just a few before sliding to avoid the hits.
I suspect we can see that same exact play. They make it look really easy, running the option down the line of scrimmage, QB making good decisions and keeping them in good second down situations.
And the Tigers with a 2nd and short to keep this drive moving. Power football with the run. On his feet at the 40. Open space at the 25. Finally corralled, but not before. He picks up the first down.
This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. If you've got the lead in the 3rd quarter and you want to keep it, you got to bleed the clock. Best way to do that, run the football. And you're now seeing this offense call these run plays back to back. They are trying to be physical, and they're trying to stay on the field.
Makes the grab. Got some room, entered to the goal line. Touchdown, Clemson. And they add 6 more to the board with that trip to the house.
That's number 2 on the day, having a day. I mean, you know he's going to catch the football, and you know he's going to make plays after he catches. Those are the kind of guys that you feature and you find them, and they produce like this, you keep finding them.
And he made the extra point without problem. And he's not going to take a knee. Here he comes. Really disciplined job by the coverage unit to get down there and make the stop at the 19. This drive will start from the 19-yard line. Quarterback on the keeper. And he avoids the hit and slides after the short gain. And the Hawkeyes are in the hurry-up.
And after that run, getting right back up to the line of scrimmage to go hurry-up, defense has to be ready.
Here's the pressure. And it's incomplete, going for the massive explosive play instead. They're looking at a 3rd down.
This offense has had some struggles early in this game so far. They're just trying to get something going, and so you take a shot. You try to find your best one-on-one matchup and see if they can make a play. The defense was ready for it. Good coverage on the back end. They look very prepared. All 11 guys on defense right now playing together as one.
And a nice play by the defense. 3rd and short, you're thinking run most of the time, but a really nice job playing tight on the wide receivers, playing the pass and giving no space for the offense.
On 4th down, going to the air. Big tight end makes the grab. It's a first down. All down, but he has enough to move the chains. The definition of 4-down territory has changed over the last few years. It extended into their own territory there.
Anywhere, everywhere, just look at the card, right? That card's supposed to tell us what to do, but maybe I'll go for it anyways. This offense took a little bit of a gamble, but they get the first down. Nothing to worry about.
Man, the momentum is squarely on their side right now. It's starting to feel like they're running away with this one. They scored a touchdown their last time out. Now on this drive here in the 3rd quarter, the defense makes a massive play against the run, creating a negative play. They've got the opponent going backwards.
To the air, it's Dotson. Throws for the tight end. He's picked off, and he's thrown a dozen of them. Didn't let him get loose on the return, but he'll take it as they have the ball at the 47. Good field position to start this drive at their own 47. They'll leave it with him. A most efficient pickup of 6 on first down. It's 2nd and 4.
You love to see this on offense. Early in drives, getting that kind of yardage keeps you ahead of the chains.
The Tigers in a good spot here with 2nd and short. The offense changing the play. Looking to fire. And he really needed to hold on to that one, but it was not loose, and 3rd down is coming.
Well, the offense has had their way all game long up to this point. Finally, the defense is able to make a play, and I'll tell you, after that hit, that receiver is going to be thinking twice about running that route again.
In the gun, looking to throw on 3rd down. Now improvising. Just threw that one away to avoid disaster. Man down on the play as the officials take a break to let him be checked out. Clemson will send the punt team out. First punt of the day, and he'd love to lock them up close to their goal line. And the return man couldn't get to it to make the catch, and the ball will bounce out of bounds. They'll snap the ball. First play of the drive coming from their own 24. Handoff from the gun. Good blocking, good running, pickup of 6 out to the 30. The Hawkeyes headed quickly to the line.
Definitely been tough sledding for this guy, especially in the first half. They gave him the ball a bunch, but they just don't have a ton of yards on the ground to show for it at this point. That looked like a pretty good run, though. You just wonder maybe in the second half, if they keep giving him the football, it may start paying some dividends.
Lining up from the 34 on 1st down. Use the play fake, now to throw. Looking to the big tight end. It's picked off. 13th time he's done that this year.
Well, coming out of the tunnel in the 3rd quarter, this quarterback now is really struggling with his decision-making. 2 picks here in the 3rd quarter. This looks like Jekyll and Hyde from what we saw in the first half.
Well, and the bad thing is they're going to be in passing situations. They're coming from behind. They're going to need him to play better. Like, he's going to have to read the field better and make some plays if they want to get back in this football game.
Offense trying to go RPO, but how about the defense? Up front, their front 7, they had dudes winning, just being way more physical and able to get to that running back.
The Tigers trying to find their way forward after the big loss on the last play. To the air on 2nd down. Quickly to the tight end. And the defense had that one well covered, just a short game there.
I like the idea by the quarterback there. You're trying to get this first down, so you find the tight end, see if he can make a guy miss or shake a tackle. Not able to get it done.
3rd play of the drive, and they need to make something happen here on 3rd and long. Quarterback making adjustments. On 3rd and long, he has to throw for it. And the incomplete pass will bring up 4th down.
This is a disappointing drive for the offense, considering where this drive started in their opponent territory. Now you're 4th and long. You've got to be better throwing the football in those types of situations.
The field goal is no good. After the missed field goal, hey, could be worse. They're still up by 21. The drive starts from their own 25-yard line. Off the play fake on 1st down, wants to throw. Got his man on the outside. Breaks into the open. They've got him down at the 40 after he ripped off 15 yards. They've built this offense around finding mismatches and just get the ball to the back and let him do his thing.
Yeah, it didn't have to be long down the field. Like it threw it right near the line of scrimmage, but
Under pressure, and down he goes at the 33.
And listen, the quarterback drops back, and he's going through his progressions. We see zone, but just couldn't do anything about it. This defensive line, this pressure, getting to the quarterback, getting him on the ground.
And the Hawkeyes now with a long way to go to pick up the 1st down. Here's a heat. And that's going to fall to the ground incomplete. That was a physical matchup there. 3rd down coming.
Well, they were trying to sneak him out of the backfield that time into the passing game, but that did not fool anybody on defense. What a hit, forcing that incompletion.
And this offense can ill afford to come up empty on this drive, already trailing by multiple possessions. Off the RPO, fire right, trying to convert. And that had all the makings of bug meat windshield, but how about the little corner taking on the big tight end and keeping him from getting the first? Facing this double-digit deficit here in the second half, almost a no-brainer to go for it on fourth down. He'll try to throw and pick up the first down. Makes the catch, converts on fourth down, is still on his feet. Well, they just drained all of the suspense out of the fourth down conversion, moving the chains easily. Trying to run, it's Moulton. They'll knock him down for a loss of a couple.
That's a great play by the defense. They've got the lead by a lot here in the third quarter, and the offense is trying to run at them, and they just completely blew that thing up. Big tackle for loss. They've now put him in an obvious passing situation. Expect them to pin their ears back, try to get after the quarterback here.
They'll run play action. Starts to scramble to the left. Finds his big tight end. They knock him down behind the line, and the defense finishing this third quarter in style. One more period to go, and we'll see just how much fight they've got left in them. After swapping ends of the field, they gave them a little time to figure out how they'll open the final period here on third down. Bringing the heat. They get enough rush, and it pays off. The sack at the 20.
And the defense has given up some plays, some passing yards on this drive. You want to stop that? Nice job rushing the quarterback, making him feel a little bit of pressure and getting him on the ground, and now getting him behind the sticks.
On fourth down, they're taking to the air. Going for it all. And it's incomplete. The long pass on fourth down is to no avail.
Tell you what, it gets late in the football game, man. I got to start being aggressive. When I'm in a hole and the clock's running out, like, it's going to make me have to throw the football, be more aggressive. And this offense doesn't come through for their team, and now they're going to really need their defense to get some stops here in this football game in the fourth quarter.
Well, with the defense trailing, they're trying to dictate to the offense now. Really nice blitz call that time, blowing the run play up for a huge loss. You're probably going to see that again. They're trying to find a way to create a takeaway, create negative plays, and get the ball back.
Trying play action. Got the quick pass. All the way out to the 37-yard line. It's a gain of 15.
Such a tough spot to be in on defense because you're trailing, you're expecting the offense to run the football. They just did it on the last play, and then on a critical third down, they go play action, and they throw it over your head. You got to feel for this defense.
They've got it at the 37. It's 1st and 10. Wide receiver going in motion. Quick touch pass to the receiver. Pretty good effort on that one to work his way up to the 42.
And these little touch passes, man, they're just the easiest completions ever for quarterbacks. Palmer, I bet you would have loved being able to just flip it forward. That counts as to your completion percentage, which is good. And then it's all run after the catch, so pretty easy for a QB.
You wouldn't have been the only All-American in this booth, David, if I were allowed to have push passes when I was playing quarterback. I'll tell you that. It is so hard to defend. It's so hard to seal that edge, especially when this guy's full speed ahead coming around the outside.
Offense gets set for second down. Off play action. He lobs one high down the left side. And they can't hook up. Going for the big play on second down. Now it's third down.
Well, on that last deep shot, it looked to me like the quarterback probably forced that ball into coverage. But can you really blame him, guys? I mean, these two have already hooked up for 2 touchdowns in the game. If I'm him, I'm thinking the same thing. Even when he's covered, he's open. He's shown the ability to climb the ladder and make contested catches. So I don't mind him taking another shot there.
Clemson is lining up to punt this one away. This will be the second time they've had to kick it away. They kick it away on 4th down. And the returner is stopped. This drive will commence from their own 11-yard line. Dropping back, it's Dotson. Under fire. Going to try to get it himself. He gets up to the 15-yard line as they're working their way away from their own end zone.
Nice job by the defense. You got to dial into your keys. You got to make sure you're reading those guys up front. They did a good job. They saw it. They pulled the trigger. They knew the quarterback had it. They weren't fooled. Strung it out. Did a nice job of limiting the damage with that QB run.
Makes the grab. It's Anderson. Chain gang on the move. It'll be a first down at the 29. The Hawkeyes want to pick up the tempo.
And this offense has not had much to cheer about. There's something right there. Let's see if they can string a couple of plays together. Listen, this game's probably over, but this offense has got to find some kind of a rhythm, something they can hang their hat on so that moving forward, this offense has an identity.
It's a nice job running the in route there by the receiver, and the best thing he did after he made his break, he didn't trail and fade away. He actually attacked the football. That's a good lesson for young receivers out there watching.
Hit as he throws. Incomplete. He had to get rid of it before he wanted to. The defense put the heat on.
And it's just been that kind of day for this quarterback and this offense, guys. They have never been able to get into a rhythm throwing the football. Timing's been off. Accuracy hasn't been great. We've seen some drops. Just not in sync, and that's why they find themselves trailing by a lot right here late in the game.
Runs through a tackle. And he'll go down, but he delivered the business end of his stiff arm to that defender on the way.
Man, it's nice to have a guy on short yardage situations you can turn and you can hand the ball to him. And you know he's not going to dance. You know he's going to be really physical, lower his shoulder. I don't care how many yards he gets. He just needs to get past that first down mark.
Rush is on him. Got out of trouble and throws. Got it in the middle. It's Moulton. And they exploited that soft spot, and they get it down to the 35. And the Hawkeyes will have it 1st and 10. Looking to pass. It's Dotson. Setting up the screen. He is going nowhere. Stop at the line of scrimmage.
Sometimes the timing of the screenplay, it takes a little bit of time to get some depth and a little bit of acting by the quarterback and the running back. Well, they didn't win an Oscar. Let's put it that way. Not good acting. That play went nowhere. The screen pass was not successful.
Quarterback feeling that pressure, and he's knocked down at the 42.
And man, is that just indictment of the day. Your quarterback getting drilled late in the football game. This offense has sputtered. They haven't found any kind of good rhythm. They haven't done things that really gives your coach confidence and makes you want to believe in them. This offense has a lot of work to do before their next football game. And this defense has put a game together. Like, it is hard to put all the facets of defense together. Run defense, pass defense. They've been so good, man. Dialed in. You could tell they were ready. They were fast. They were physical. They dominated this football game today.
Down by multiple possessions, they can't come up empty on this drive in the 4th quarter. They'll go for it on 4th down. He'll try to throw and pick up the 1st down. Lets it fly deep downfield. Touchdown, Hawkeye! They took a shot to the end zone and found 6 points waiting on them.
The one thing you know about this offense, they're going to keep fighting, right? They're down on the scoreboard right now, but they're trying everything they can. Nice job there, finding a way to score that touchdown. And listen, we've seen crazier things happen before in college football. This thing ain't over until there's zeros on the clock.
Not much drives more anxiety than waiting to see if the hands team can corral the onside kick, and they do. Clemson has their paws on it, and they'll send out the offense. They're in command of this game. Now let's see if they try to rub a little salt in the wound or happy with getting the W.
Yeah, and listen, this makes the post-game handshake fun sometimes. If you do choose to rub a little salt in it and keep chucking and keep scoring, I'm here for it, Jesse. Like, your job is to score points. It's my job to stop it. Keep the foot to the accelerator. Keep trying to play ball.
I agree 1,000%. That's like Steve Spurrier back in the day when I was playing for the Gators. You go and play for him because you want the opportunity to throw the ball. So when you get in the game late, you're not handing it off. We were beating Central Michigan by 80-something points. He was still letting us throw the football. It's the defense's job to stop.
They'll run the ball. The clock is on their side.
They're trying to run the football. There's just nowhere to go for the ball carrier inside. He tried to bounce it to the outside. That linebacker way too fast. He met him there and forced the TFL.
And the Tigers have put themselves in dire straits after that last play. It's 2nd and a mile. Give to the running back. And this one will be stopped for no gain. Well, we are winding it down, guys. Only a few more plays left in this season. Also wrapping up a really outstanding performance for this offense.
Yeah, they're sending out the seniors on the right foot. Guys, we've seen a lot of great football. There have been so many tremendous moments and individual efforts, David. This is a year in college football I know I'll never forget.
Won't forget it. Loved working with you guys. Loved being in the booth. Loved covering these football games. I'll tell you what, a lot of excitement in college football surrounding the sport, man. Let's just keep loving on it.
On 3rd and long, he's going to have to throw for it. Finds space on the right. They get the timeout call with 7 seconds left on the clock. And while the game is all but decided, why not try to get another one if you can? That's part of the fun, right? To the air on 1st down. Gets it out quickly. Timeout on the field and 4 ticks left to go. And after this play, the cake will be baked. Wants to adjust the pattern. Back to pass on 2nd down. Touchdown, Clemson! The offense puts up 6 with that trip for the end zone.
And they just keep piling on the points. We've seen in big moments in this game, they have been able to step up and deliver, particularly on offense. Very impressive performance.
And the extra point splits the uprights, and they're up a full 3 touchdowns, a 21-point cushion in the 4th. Kickoff unit has been busy as they have built a big lead, and they're trying to hold on to it. He'll bring it out. It's Washington. They stop the return right there, and that will do it. This one is in the book. We sensed a great deal of confidence, almost a smugness from this coaching staff. And these guys on the field, it's as if they knew they were going to win.
Yeah, playing with a bit of a chip on their shoulder, and I think they really felt like they had a real good game plan offensively and defensively coming into this one, David. There were some matchups on the field they thought they could exploit. We saw that happen.
No doubt. Good job by this coaching staff, understanding who's out there to make plays, feeding them the football, offense, defense, special teams, all working together to get it done.
That's going to do it for us here, and for these two teams, that's going to do it for a season. Another bowl game in the books, and a season is wrapped. For David Pollack and Jesse Palmer, and our entire crew behind the scenes, I'm Reese Davis signing off, and we'll see you next season for another presentation of EA Sports College Football.